Yes, of course.
All right, our next question is for you from Brad. Brad says, I have been having very intense experiences in my sleep state for a while now. And a lot of the times I get to a layer where it's like I am waking up to my true self in what feels like it might be the now moment. Coming back to this reality feels like the equivalent of burying your head in the sand to hide from yourself. Like we or I am amusing myself by creating distortions to basically hide from reality. Could you speak on how I am perceiving this, and if this is true, how do people in my life in this reality, for lack of a better term, fit in that reality? Is this the twin soul mechanism?
Yes, of course. First of all, you are correct. You find great joy in hiding from that area of consciousness that is higher dimensional, although not upon your lower fractal level. In fact, it becomes one of your larger frustrations in your incarnation. Your soul in total finds it very amusing that there is a part of you that is pure creator consciousness that cannot perceive the rest part of creation that you yourself have created. So, of course, there's something that is amusing in that way. Now, it does not amuse that part of you to see the pain or suffering, nor does it amuse that part of you to see the frustrations that occur, but it is simply the acknowledgement of that which felt from your human perspective as a sacrifice of going into the hardest layer of your consciousness, the most dense layer of physical reality, and allowing yourself to experience it wholeheartedly. Now, this energy is not truly the facet of energy that dictates your consciousness at all. In fact, it is quite opposite. Your consciousness recognizes the need for the separation of fractals in order for the function to occur. And what is that function? First, there's a soul function, and the function of this is to know and to be connected to all things. That is your highest portion of the higher fractal consciousness. Your sixth density layer holds a function of knowing the mastery of your multidimensionality and creation itself. Your fifth density layer holds its own form of understanding and role, and that is to have mastered that of knowledge. And your fourth density, at its highest component, knows the mastery of that which is connection is most important and valid. Each of you are going through your own experience. Your greatest component is to integrate that fourth density consciousness. That is where you are. That is what you are working towards. Any form of resistance that is felt is not perceived as a failure, nor is it perceived as some karmic joke that is only played upon you. It is a part of the overall whole growing. How can your fourth density grow when it already knows what fourth density is without understanding your ability to overcome the components of your consciousness that are still attuned to the third density format of energy? How can your fifth density consciousness grow without knowing the resistance and limitations of fourth density and your own journey towards implementing? And your sixth density knows that the growth occurs from your fifth density consciousness connected to your fourth, connected to that lowest fractal of your own consciousness, and that hardship of going through adversity. So it is a great praise to that part of you that sees your journey as it is the hardest but the most rewarding as well. Now, all of the other entities that exist in your life are not simply byproducts of your own creation, that are simple consciousnesses that are there to either be a part of your experience or to create some form of reflection. They are, in fact, souls doing the same thing. The consciousness that is within those components are a co created measure, a mirror of one another. And that energy holds its own consciousness itself, another entity of your collective form. There's a version of you who, in working with the closest human to you, is simply both of you alone, but the larger group of six entities that are around you. There's a collective that is your own, all of those learning independent lessons, but allowing all fractals involved to fractalize that energy further down to the individual, to the couple, to the threesome and foursome that exist in that six-person dynamic. We have always shared that two persons hold five persons worth of dynamic co-creation. Now imagine to yourself how many 10, 100, or 1,000,000 hold. We thank you for this.
All right, thank you, Aridif.
Yes, of